So, if you're deciding whether or not to buy any Allen and Ginter, I would have to tell you, don't even bother. I've bought, I believe I've ripped open 34 hobby boxes and 25. I'm sorry, not 25. I've opened up 45 blaster boxes and 34 hobby boxes. And I can tell you, it is not a very good deal. So, the part of the problem with Allen and Ginter this year is it's just not as good of a product as it once was. Let me bring this back down so I can kind of read it off to you guys. So I've opened up a lot, and part of the problem with Allen and Ginter is they listed it at $125 on the pre-sale, but most of us are not even going to get that. So we're in the secondary market, and we're able to get it for $220 to $250. This box, if I had to make an estimate, is probably worth somewhere in the $79.99 range. Somebody, there's a bunch of influencers that said, hey, this box is worth about $59.99. After opening up a lot of boxes, I have to say that the price point on this, to be fair, would be no more than $79.99. And then what's disappointing this year is they lowered the number of guarantees from 3 to 2, and the inserts are even worse than ever before. And I'll get to that in just a second. So if you add in the cost increase and consider some of the other things going on with too many base cards and too many fillers, I'd have to suggest that you don't bother buying Allen and Ginter moving forward. I've done the work for you, and it's just not a good product. So let's get into this. So with so many base cards and the inserts being not as good as it once was, they're just not putting much effort into the cards that made it fun to begin with. And so if you're not having a good product, to increase the price is not fair. Then you just decrease the number of guaranteed hits from 3 to 2. Well, not only did you drop it and give us one less, but you also inserted way more of these relic cards. So you gave us generic, non-numbered relic cards that are basically, they're worth like $1 to $5 at most. Majority of them are going to be worth like $2-3. And not everything's about a monetary aspect, but if you're having us pay $220 to $250 a box, and the box is loaded with majority of the boxes, hobby boxes, being relics that have no value, there comes a certain point in time where the math doesn't add up, where we can justify paying $220 to $250 for a box that has very little value. Then every so often, out of those 34 hobby boxes, you'll throw me a bone and you give me one relic that is numbered. Or this one isn't numbered because the greens are not numbered, but basically we can assume that there's only 50 of these Hunter pence. But the trick is you give me a player that isn't any good. Then when we finally hit an autograph, we don't hit an autograph of a player or someone good. You give us a generic influencer card that's non-numbered, and then every so often you'll throw in a numbered influencer of nobody we want. So now we finally got our 2 autographs out of 34 hobby boxes, but then we get 2 people we don't want. And when you kind of take a step back and look at what we received out of 34 hobby boxes, I got a lot of these. I didn't bother to pull the stack from over there, but basically it's all these. I got basically all these non-numbered generic relic patches that have no absolute value. And so if I was to give you kind of an idea of should you buy Allen and Ginter, no. I would suggest never to buy Allen and Ginter. Top sucks. So all these up here, I'll be ripping those at some point in time because for me, I just enjoy collecting. I enjoy ripping and opening things. But in terms of, is there much value in it? No. It's a horrible value product. Unless you absolutely love it and are willing to kind of tune out the fact that this thing costs $220 to $250 a box, which is just a complete ripoff for what you're actually getting, I would suggest that you never ever buy Allen and Ginter ever again.